okay to have alcohol once a week? I used to love a glass of wine or two on a Saturday, but have stopped because a gym trainer said it would ruin my progress. I don't mind not drinking, but surely a glass of wine can't ruin the whole week of hard work. Plus, isn't life for living and making memories? It absolutely is. Yes, we are very encouraging of our clients to go out and enjoy themselves and have that couple of glasses of wine if they want it, and it's not going to ruin your progress. Hello and welcome to another episode of Diet Culture Can Fork Off. Got the lovely Emma joining me today with another Q&A session. How are you today, Emma?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
All good. I'm excited for this one. Again, got some really good questions come through, haven't we?
Yeah, some really good ones.
Yeah, so I think there's a good mix here and some really good topics to talk through. So we will get straight into it, I think. But unless, have you got anything else before we get into the questions? Have you got anything else going on or anything else you want to add?
No, I don't think so. Just get
No.
straight into it, I think.
Perfect. So the first question, and I think this is really, I get a little bit bee in my bonnet about this, to be honest. This first question, I've had a rant about it before. Training while on your period, how hard can I can't speak now. How hard can or should you go? And the reason why I get a bee in my bonnet about this is because there's so many coaches that I see go like how to train around your cycle, and it's absolute bullshit if you ask me. So, what do you think, Emma?
Yeah, so there are those coaches out there that say that you should adjust your training and like in your luteal phase, you should just do Pilates and go for walks and stuff like that. But like you said, the science does not back that up. So I think it's just going with how you're feeling and being curious about how you're feeling and your body, and because if you go into the gym in that mindset that, oh, I'm in my luteal phase, I'm going to be weak, my training's going to be rubbish, then it's kind of like a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy. So I think it's just getting curious about how you are actually feeling, because you might be experiencing things like more sweating, being more sore, being more clumsy. Like all of those things can be affected by your period, but it's just about checking in with how you're feeling that day, and if you do need to go a little bit lighter or reducing reps or whatever, do that. But I've had clients that have get a lot of PBs in the luteal phase and they've smashed it. So I think it is very person dependent, and like I said, your cycle can be different each time,
Yeah,
so I think it's just adjusting to what you need on that day.
absolutely. And like month by month as well, it can change. And I'm one of those people that get PBs, like in that
Yeah,
phase as well. So that's why I'm always like, I'm not going to do fucking Pilates. I'm going to do some deadlifts. Thank you. So, and that's why I get a bee in my body. It's like, don't dictate to me how I feel. Like it's
yeah,
that labeling. Like you said, that self-fulfilling prophecy is like prophecy. Like when we label of like, this is, someone's told me this is how I feel, so this is how I feel.
yeah,
And it's like, well, no, that's not true. Like, so yeah, don't listen to them. So, how hard or should you go is absolutely depending on how you feel. To your body, tune into it. Like Emma said, like if there might be times, like sometimes I don't sleep very well because I get my
yeah,
temperature raises, doesn't it? So
yeah,
in the night, so like sometimes you might not sleep properly, so that's okay. Maybe you do want to take it a bit easier, but there might be, you might start training, and go like, God, I feel strong today. Like
yeah,
I'm always like, if you feel strong, go for it.
yeah, yeah. There's no kind of pattern to it, is there?
Yeah. So yeah, don't listen to how to train around your cycle. It's absolutely bollocks. It's not backed by
Yeah,
research or science, as Emma said. It's like, I don't say it so eloquently. I'm just like, oh, it's bullshit.
it is.
So,
Just see how you feel.
yeah.
If you're feeling good, just go for it. If you're not,
Yeah.
scale it back a bit.
Yeah. I
That
think
would be
people
my advice.
yeah, go into that again. That's yeah. Some people just try to sell you something by like, if you do this and like yeah, buy around your cycle, but don't
Yeah,
let people tell you how you should feel. I'm very
yeah,
very about that. Like you know how you feel. Don't let
yeah,
other people tell you. There we go. Anyway, that's me being a bit
yeah. I would agree.
independent woman. Sorry. I do. I am dressed as like a land girl today as well, which is this is probably
Lovely.
Anyway, so yeah, that should answer that question. The
Yeah, I
next,
agree completely.
yeah, there we go. You've heard it here. Coaches that get it. So, the next one. How do you get to a place where you become less stressed about obstacles in life and more accepting? Now, Emma's just done a amazing module for our clients in the hub around stress. So
Yeah.
you've probably got some great insights around this, Emma, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of tools that we use with our clients to kind of manage stress, and we kind of help them put a roadmap together of things that help them to kind of navigate stress. Because every time I've worked with a client over the years, I always say, what are your stress strategies for stress management? And no one's ever just been able to kind of reel them off. So that's something that we work on with our clients, is something that's personal to them, and working on it when you're regulated so you can think about it rather than when the stress hits and you're not kind of in a position to kind of think logically about what would help you best in the moment. But I think it's like, obviously I've had a lot of stress this year, so I've had a lot of opportunity to develop these skills this year.
Practice
But I think
makes.
it's just, yeah, definitely. But I think it's just, we want things to be smooth all the time, but it is just having that acceptance that life is going to throw challenges at us. Like, we don't have to like it, but we absolutely are going to have those challenges. And just accepting that that's part of life, and also trusting your capacity that you can deal with it, because when we're stressed we fear that we won't be okay and that things won't be okay, but like, we all go through challenges and we draw on our skills and our experience, and we've dealt with hard things before, so we can definitely deal with them again. And I think, like, everything that's happened to me this year, you do always take something from that. It's not always a negative experience. Like, on reflection, it is a positive thing. Like, well, you're in it at the time, it's hard and it's difficult, but there's always a positive that comes from it.
Absolutely. Like, and I believe that as well. It's like when you're in it, you can't, you have to wait till you're out the other side to be able to reflect and go, actually,
Yeah,
what did I learn from this experience? What can I take with me? We're big on reflection as well in Empower, and
yeah,
stress management is, yeah, something we work a lot on. But being able to come that's more accepting is you do start building up that resilience. Like
yeah,
going, like when you put those tools into place, um, because life is busy, life is going to always throw stresses at us. If you just always use that as like, oh well, I can't do this and I can't work on myself because I've got a stressful job, or I've got that, you're always going to be stuck then, because you're always like,
yeah,
oh, you're in that, right, this, you've accepted that life is stressful, but you'd rather stay like not learning the tools and just go like, right, I'll just stay here, which is a bit harsh, but I think sometimes we need to hear it.
yeah. The
Yeah,
thing is,
sorry.
though, you're right, we're always busy and we're always stressed. So waiting for a time when you're not busy and you're not stressed, it's just not going to happen unless you're a child, like, and you don't have a lot of stress. But as adults, we always have some stress, don't we? So
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And like actually, I just one of the wins from the clients this week, she was saying she she's got really stressful, busy. Someone is off long term sick, so she's taking on that responsibility as well.
yeah,
And she's like, I know I'm going into another busy week, and this is now happened. So yes, it happened. She's like, I just realised I'm handling this 1,000 times better than I would have before joining Empower.
yeah,
Like, how incredible is that? Because of these amazing tools that we
yeah.
give out. Um, but yes, so how do you put, what was the question again? How do you get to a place where you become less stressed about obstacles? It's learning and more accepting, is, I would say it's learning each time those obstacles come up, each time those stress come up, it's reflection. What went well, what didn't go well, what can I do better next time? And obviously the techniques that we teach inside Empower do help with that as well. Regulating your central nervous system and things like that. So you're not always in fight or flight mode. Like,
Yeah,
but yeah, it's because I was just thinking about this myself. Like, I handle stress a lot better than I used to, but it was just practicing those tools.
yeah,
It's like,
yeah. And then you learn and you get better, and
yeah, and I'm like, do you know what? It's like, what's the thing I say? You can't. It's to focus the things that you can control. Like we can't control everything, and sometimes we get so stressed about things that we have no control over. So, that stuff's going on, but focus on what you can control. I think.
Yeah, I think it's remembering permanence as well, because things go in cycles, and they're good and they're not so good. And when you are going through it and it's really hard and if it's difficult, it's thinking this won't last forever, even if it seems impossible at the time. That cycle will pass, but it's just about, right, what can I do to look after myself the best that I can while I'm going through this difficult time, and just having that self compassion and looking after yourself while you inevitably move past it, which you will.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something that helped me. And obviously, like with Alex being Buddhist, it's something that they talk about quite a lot. So
Yeah,
Buddhist things like everything is impermanent. So
yeah,
this feeling won't last. It will pass. That's
yeah,
what really helped me working through my anxiety,
yeah.
feelings of anxiety.
Yeah, that's definitely helped me with, like, this year with my cardiac arrest and my dad passing away and everything else that's happened. Things don't stay the same, they do get better.
Yeah, things are always changing.
Yeah.
It's a good thing to realise. So yeah, I hope that answers the question there. So this one's a really interesting one because obviously this
Oh,
is
yeah.
what we talk about is why do you think there is a resurgence in the 90s noughties diet culture? And not just that, but it feels like I'm drowning in misinformation about health and wellness. Um, so I feel like it's everywhere. I don't know if it's always been there, or am I just noticing it more? Or something is actually fueling it, and there's actually an increase in that kind of content, which I think is really interesting. And obviously, this is a lot of what we talk
Yeah.
about on my Instagram as well.
Yeah, I've really noticed this over the last few months. I think there definitely is a lot of messages that I thought would kind of moved past. And I think it might be there's a lot on social media now, at like the skinny talk thing that's all over TikTok, and the that girl routines that kind of focus on juice cleanses and eating tiny meals and clean eating and all of that kind of stuff. It does really remind me of the things that we kind of moved through like 20 years ago. Also, I think it's changed a little bit because of like weight loss injections um, that have kind of become more popular recently, and even things like low rise jeans and things like that coming back in fashion.
Okay. I'm like,
God,
oh my god, we get back into the early noughties.
yeah, I know.
Don't want to wear those
And
again. I'm hanging out.
yeah, so
But
yeah,
yeah,
I think a lot of those kinds of things have had like a big influence, and they've got those underlying values and pressures that are very similar to the things that we went through
yeah.
years ago.
And it is interesting because I know that, like, I always think of like kind of that political side of it, I guess, with like, is it trying to suppress women or like,
Yeah,
this kind of side to it, which I probably could go down a rabbit hole, so we
yeah,
can
me too.
continue what you
Find it
do.
fascinating. But yeah, if you look back historically, body types have changed like every 10 years, haven't they? So, not like before, it was like the Kim Kardashian, like big boobs, big bum, small waist. And now we're moving away from that. And it's been like the heroin chic era, and then like the wag era. And it's like different body types are
Yeah,
fashionable all the time. And we can't be that. Like
no,
we can't change that and be that thing. So we're always
yeah.
lacking. We're never going to hit that ideal.
Our bodies are not a fashion trend. And actually, interestingly, then my brain just went because I was like, there's been I guess, in fashion and trends, 90s where like fashion has come back, 90s, like,
Yeah,
music and everything, like people wearing like Nirvana t-shirts and everything again. And like, it's interesting actually how that the fashion's come back and the
yeah,
thinking around that body ideal as
yeah,
well. So that's I didn't even think about it like that until just now. So I'm like,
yeah.
wonder if that has a connection. Very interesting.
Yeah, like the low rise jeans, that was the body ideal that came with it, wasn't it? Like flat stomachs, no
Yeah,
softness in the belly area, and but most women can't achieve that ideal because that's where we naturally store fat, like to protect our reproductive organs. So that is out of reach for most women.
yeah. And when people do go to that body ideal, it usually affects their cycles as well.
Yeah, Yeah,
Like we
definitely.
need fat. We need it as part of our diet. We need to have it because it's like helps our hormones and helps our cycles and
Yeah,
which yeah, it's crazy when you look back at those because I remember obviously growing up in that time, like Britney Spears, the Christina Aguilera, like
yeah,
they were wearing those like Paris Hilton. They're all like
yeah.
I
I
know
mean, I couldn't get away with that trend when I was 21 when it was fashionable the first time round. I'm definitely not getting away with it now. I'm 44 and I've had two kids, so that's a definite no
no, I
for
can't
me.
think.
But for most women,
Yeah, it's just like
that's not going to happen.
because I strive for um, that thin ideal like that. I obviously had my own eating issues and stuff like that, and, but I wasn't happy. It was like
No,
um, I don't want to go back to that. I'm quite more happy
no,
like focusing on being healthy and my
yeah,
longevity, and
yeah,
feeling just confident, not thinking about food at 24/7. But
yeah.
good
Well,
topic.
it does feel like a bit of a step backwards, doesn't it? Because we
Yeah,
had that, and it's like then we'd got over it, and we were training to be strong, and we were nourishing ourselves. So it does definitely feel like a bit of a step backwards, doesn't it?
yeah. We don't want that to happen, but
No,
the misinformation that's coming with it as well, and I do feel we didn't have social media in that time.
yeah,
So now it's like, and I do feel that people, it's not regulated, that's the trouble. And people sell all kinds of crap and try to like say, oh yeah, you need this like miracle thing to balance your hormones or to like lower your cortisol or like this, because again, it's like what we talked about before, playing on people's vulnerability
yeah,
with that thin ideal coming back. I think that's why people, then we're seeing all this miracle cure, whatever they want to call it. I don't know. Or like people would say, what I think as well, people notice that extreme views get likes and
yeah.
because it can be clickbait as well. Remember, like people do it for clickbait or what's it called? When it's like anger, I think rage bait.
Rage
That's
baiting.
rage bait, and so they say all these ridiculous things like don't eat fruit or like you'll get
Yeah,
fat from eating pineapple. I think I saw someone say or something. I was like, what? Anyway, like because they say this stuff and then they get likes and they get seen and they get their
yeah.
5 minutes of fame.
Yeah, and even if it's negative, it feeds into their algorithm, doesn't it? So they just talk all kinds of nonsense, but it can be really dangerous.
It can be so dangerous because there's people, like, especially when these people have got big followings, and I know that we've just called out a couple of people that have got big followings that are talking absolute crap, and they're like, that people follow this, and then they're like, oh, should I be doing? And then you wouldn't you? If you don't have the knowledge, like obviously we've got our qualifications, we study
Yeah,
it, we're in it, we're constantly learning and upping our knowledge. But for me, before I started this, I wouldn't have a clue, and I would definitely be like, "Oh, that's what I should be doing."
yeah, because they make it sound very, excuse me, sciencey. So it sounds
Mm.
like they know what they're talking about. Or like you say, if they've got a big following, you think that they've got credibility, so you believe what they're saying, but they're
Yeah,
just talking nonsense.
yeah, like what's her name, the glucose goddess.
There's a few, isn't there, we could get into.
But they skew the research and they skew the
Yeah,
science to fit their narrative.
yeah,
So there's some great resources that I always talk about, like PubMed. That's where you can go and look at any actual like research and science like backed as well. So if you go and use PubMed, I would encourage anyone if
yeah.
you're questioning these things, go and look at that.
Or like Google Scholar, but
Yeah,
yeah, somebody that actually knows what they're talking about rather than some influencer that's 20 years old and just has great genetics.
yeah,
They
with
have a
no
big following.
no
Yeah,
qualifications and don't care about the misinformation they're putting out there, which is the scariest thing. So yes, we do feel like there is a bit of a resurgence, and I think we've covered why it is. But yeah, I think it's not. I think it is more out there. I don't think it is like that. You've just noticed it. I do think there is a big. I think people, the if you think about the health. I can't remember what it's worth, but the health and fitness industry I think is worth quite a lot. When you think about like and this, I'm
yeah,
meaning like supplements and everything like that. So of course people they want a bit of the pie, I guess, and
Yeah,
they're like, oh, what bullshit can I make up to sell to vulnerable people? Because they're
yeah,
afraid, again, playing on the vulnerabilities of people that's been strong.
yeah,
And like we said before, it comes down to the basics, and it's not, they're trying to sell this crap that's not needed.
yeah.
But
Yeah, because if you're desperate and you're unhappy, you'll willingly pay that money, whatever it is, because you just want to feel better. So they are just preying on people's
yeah,
vulnerabilities.
but yeah, don't do it, guys. Just double check any miss anything that feels, oh, I'm not sure this is right. Double check it. Double like go and do look at science, the research, PubMed. That will help a lot. And like usually when it comes to fat loss, weight loss and stuff, there's usually other things going on behind the scenes, which is like the mindset side, which is what we talk about inside Empower. Like not like I say, you can't out diet a poor relationship with food, and you can't out exercise a poor relationship with your body. So it is being able to find actually what's going on behind the scenes,
Yeah,
which I talk a lot about in episode 2, actually, behind the scenes. Someone here, like, this is really good because I add this question here actually because someone's asked about how do people evenly balance housework. But I think with people that are very busy, work, housework, family, and then fitting in fitness on top of that, it can feel so
yeah,
overwhelming.
yeah,
And that's like a big opportunity. So we do a lot of things around how to balance and time manage
yeah.
in power. But yeah, did you have any thoughts on this, Emma?
Yeah, so I think people think that like a 50-50 split of everything is ideal, but that's not always how real life works. And I think it's more about the load feeling fair for both people. So, for example, in our house, I do the cooking, I do the shopping, I do the meal planning, anything that Amelia needs, like making sure she's got bus fare or paying for school trips or whatever. I sort all of that. And Paul does the cleaning, so he kind of sorts the cleaning and the washing, and that feels balanced for us, and that's based on what what we kind of enjoy doing, where our strengths are, where our energy is, and kind of what we value. Because he's a terrible cook, I enjoy cooking, he loves cleaning, I get distracted, so we kind of play to our strengths, but we've discussed it and it feels fair to us. But I think sometimes the stress around housework can be linked to like the invisible load, so the mental stuff of the planning and the remembering, and so you need to kind of have a conversation, I think, about the mental aspect of it as well, not just the physical. And things might change. Like when I had my cardiac arrest, Paul took on a lot more, and obviously, well, I was recovering, but now I'm better. And then if Paul had a stressful time at work, like I might take on board. So it's kind of just having that open communication with your
Yeah, and
partner, I think.
I think that's what it comes down to. It's communication, and I think like working
Yeah,
with so many people and women over the years, I think we sometimes we hold in our heads what we want done as well, and
yeah,
we have this like ongoing list in our heads, but and then we get like, oh, why haven't people picked up these plates? I don't like because like we notice things around and we want things done, but we have to remember that other people might not know what's going on in our heads, so that we want
yeah,
all these tasks done. So I think, yeah, finding a way to communicate is absolutely key. For like, yeah, Alex and I have like kind of, yeah, split jobs. So then like things like the cleaning we both do, but I have to tell him what needs to be done or when I need help with something. Like, because some days I have like really like long work days sometimes and I haven't got a chance to
yeah,
do something. So I'm like, oh, can you help with this? Um, what works for us is because well, Alex being autistic, he likes things clear written instructions. So I can't just tell
yeah.
him. So we got like a whiteboard thing on the fridge, and I write it in a list. Like, and then if it's
Yeah,
on the,
that's something that you taught me actually. That works really well in our house as
it
well,
works
especially if
so
you've got
well.
kids as well, because they can see what's on that board, so then they can just go and take something off.
Yeah, that's it again. If you communicate, if your kids are old enough to start doing
Yeah,
chores, get them involved. Be like, this is the
but I
list,
think
guys.
with as as somebody with ADHD as well, like I'm the one that sometimes doesn't notice,
Yeah,
so that's kind of good for me as well. So Paul doesn't get annoyed with me because
yeah.
I don't pay attention to that.
Yeah, it's just like, but yeah, if it's on the list, like, and as long as I put it on the list and it's on the fridge, and then Alex would just get on with it because he's seen it on the list, and I just don't have to tell him because otherwise you do feel like you're nagging all the time and just be like,
Yeah,
oh, I don't want to talk about this again. So yeah, I think the key thing is finding a way that works for you, your family, or you and your partner, whoever you're living with, and find the communication that works for all of you because people communicate in different ways. Like I said,
yeah,
like whiteboard does work a lot for a lot of people, like that visualization. I've got a couple of clients that use digital, a shared digital calendar,
yeah.
as well because they prefer digital. Some people do. I prefer like seeing something visually as well because otherwise I forget. I can close down my phone and not look at it.
Yeah,
But yeah, communication, finding that balance, and seeing what you can delegate, what you want to take responsibility for. But it's a good question because so many people do struggle with that. Like, this is why it just shows that we do help with this kind of not just food and not just
yeah,
workouts, it's the lifestyle behind it. Because if you are struggling with that, it's like, okay, what's going on at home? Can you find help
yeah.
there?
But
Um,
a lot of women do, like, traditionally they did all those, all like the majority of the housework and the things with the kids. But now, like, we're not in the 1950s now. Like, women are working and they've got that responsibility as well. Um,
Absolutely.
so if there's, if it's not fair, then they don't have the time to be concentrating on the nutrition or getting to the gym. So it does need to be not equally split, but fairly split.
Fairly split, yeah, to the time and responsibilities, and just
Yeah,
yeah, it can't fall on one person's shoulders all the time. And sometimes I think we forget, we just feel like we should do all that work, or people do feel like, oh, that's my responsibility without communicating, and that's why
yeah,
sometimes people to have the time for themselves because they haven't, they're too scared to ask for the help because they feel
yeah.
like
And
it's their responsibility.
yeah, and the women can't show up as their best selves if they're exhausted and they're not looking after themselves and they're not finding time to exercise and all of those kinds of things. They're not going to show up as the best partner and mum and for themselves, if they're overworked and exhausted.
So
So that's why it's important.
it's very important. Make sure you, make the time for yourself. Talk to people in your household and make sure that you getting that balance right. So
Yeah,
everyone can have time to look after themselves, and it's not all on one person.
yeah, definitely.
So great. Okay, so the next one: how do you manage food on long trips? So this is another good one. I haven't been on a really long trip for a long time, but I have done in the past. So, um, and this one does involve flying, so which traveling around, yeah, with airports and stuff like that. You've also got a bit of a time difference sometimes that can skew things. But have you got any tips around this first, Emma?
Yeah, I just think to not put too much pressure on yourself to eat perfectly, and then just to try and have some anchors like to kind of stick to. So trying to get protein at most meals, not all of them, but trying to get protein in where you can. Trying to include some fruit or veg most days where you can, making sure that you're drinking enough water, like fairly basic things. Um, could maybe have like a little travel pantry to take with you, things that aren't going to go off. So things like protein bars, like beef jerky, fruit that's like apples and oranges that you can carry with you that aren't going to go off, like rice cakes, those kind of things. And then it's just accepting that like you're there for the experience and you are going to be eating differently to what you would do normally, and that's part of the trip. So there will be the ice creams, there will be eating local foods that you haven't tried before, and just embracing that, and it's just enjoying it because it's part of your holiday.
Absolutely. I love trying different foods around the way. I want to try all the local delicacies and stuff. So what I do is like with flying, if it's a long flight, this one is because they said they're going to New Zealand. Drinking lots of water on those
Yeah,
flights as well. Keep yourself hydrated. I know that I always feel bloated after flying. So I just accept that. It's like, it's not going to last. It's fine. I just feel bloated. Like, again, it's just known that I haven't suddenly put on like loads of weight or like body fat because that's impossible in that short amount of time. But it is
yeah,
just to do with the travel and stuff. And sometimes eating different foods will cause bloating as well. because we're not
Yeah.
used to them, we're not used to digesting them. So again, it's just recognizing that this is, again, comes back to that impermanence. Like this is only for a short time, and what is more important is that you're enjoying that experience. Because when do you get to do these holidays again? When do you go to this country or experience what you're doing? Like
Yeah.
whatever, like if it's even a few weeks, it's not going to make massive difference to your progress. And I think people get wrapped up like, oh, holidays ruined it all, and then they start spiraling, and it's like, no, enjoy the moment. Like, tell
Yeah.
people, like, eat the food, eat the local food, have the ice cream, enjoy it. Like,
Yeah.
what I usually do is keep breakfast so, like you said, try to have protein when I can. I usually try to keep breakfast a bit lighter, depending on where I am. Just having like fruit, yogurt, like some of the protein, and then that gives me a bit of flexibility around the day. But that's for me because I don't like to feel too bloated,
Yeah.
and that helps me like keep a good balance. I'm like, I've got fruit in, I've got some protein in, like first thing, then that helps me
Early
feel,
win.
yeah. So yeah, so that's how I'd manage it. But yeah, more about the experience, and it goes back to like what we talk about with our clients as well as like going back to their values on these
Yeah.
holidays, weekends, events that come up. Like, what is your value around this? What is actually you want to get out of this time? And I guarantee that when you ask that question, it's not going to be like watch my calories every single day.
Oh,
It's
that'd
going
be a bit disordered, wouldn't it?
yeah, absolutely. I'd be
It's
quite worried.
about your memories, isn't it, and having a nice time.
Absolutely. So that's again like comes back to that value work. But perfect. Anything else to add to that?
No, I think that's it.
Perfect. Now this one's another great one because I
Yeah, I
think this
like.
comes up a lot. Is it okay to have alcohol once a week? I used to love a glass of wine or two on a Saturday, but have stopped because a gym trainer said it would ruin my progress. I don't mind not drinking, but surely a glass of wine can't ruin the whole week of hard work. Plus, isn't life for living and making memories? It absolutely is. Um, yes, obviously, we are very encouraging of our clients to go out and enjoy themselves and have that couple of glasses of wine if they want it, and it's not going to ruin your progress. But there is obviously science that comes in with like drinking and like it does affect your strength and da 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 da. But to be honest, it's like, well, we're not training to be competition like powerlifters here. Like we're like normal people just wanting to enjoy life. So in that respect, to me, it doesn't affect your progress, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
What do you have any thoughts on that as well, Emma?
Yeah, this reminds me of the question from a couple of weeks ago about the honey and the salmon, but yeah, yeah, it's not gonna affect your progress having a glass of wine on a Saturday night. Maybe if your goal was fat loss and you were going out and getting absolutely wasted every weekend and then not moving the next day and eating all the carbs, then it is probably going to have an impact. But having a glass of wine on a Saturday night is not going to affect your progress. In fact, on a Saturday night, Paul and I always, well, most weeks, share a bottle of wine, so it's like a glass and a bit each. But I'll cook dinner and he'll sit in the kitchen and he'll talk to me while I'm cooking dinner, and then we'll have some wine and then we'll sit at the table, and that's a big part of our social health, and that's how we connect to a couple. And even if I'm in a fat loss phase, I will always factor that in, that that's a non-negotiable for me, that I will have like a glass and a half of wine on a Saturday night. And that's just not all weeks, but most weeks that's what we do, and that's part of our emotional and social health. And like a glass of wine is probably just over 100 calories, but so it's not going to have massive amounts of add massive amounts of calories, but that's what's important to us. So yeah, that's what we do every week. So I wouldn't expect my clients to do anything different.
Yeah, I enjoy a glass of wine. Like sometimes, like kind of like end of the week, I'm like "Oh, really fancy, like just a what, like just to help me wind down. Like, or just it's just I don't know, it's just nice. I enjoy it. Like
Yeah,
it's more like, oh, do I feel like it? Like last weekend, like last Saturday, didn't feel like it, didn't drink.
yeah,
But also, I think if we deprive ourselves of those things, we start getting quite like I don't know, like what's the word? Resentful,
yeah,
and then it can hit a spiral, like you're like, right, I'm just gonna have a drink, and then you go into a spiral with it, like eating as well, like you kind of binge drink as well, and
Yeah,
so you do run the risk of like if you're depriving yourself of that, it could be detrimental in the long run because it could cause like a bit of a spiral with it. So it is important to like if it's something you enjoy and it's something you get a lot of value then it's why not have it? It's the same with one of the clients as well that had she was stuck in these cycles or like all or nothing approach. And one thing that she loved going on a date night with her husband every
yeah,
week, having a couple of pints. But that, it was ending in like a lot of guilt and spiraling because she thought I shouldn't be doing this. And so we factored that in. That's part of her
yeah,
plan. And now she's like, she feels way much happier. She feels confident and she starts spiraling with guilt every Monday because
yeah,
oh, I can do this. It's like, yes, of course you can.
yeah. Yeah, and then if you're in that all or nothing thinking, if you have a few drinks and then you're like, oh well, I've fucked this up now, so I'm just going to drink, and then I won't have a drink next week. If you can approach it with a balanced approach and that you haven't done anything wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. Because then you're not going into that spiral with it. Because I think that's why a lot of
Yeah,
people do that. Like, I'll start again Monday because they have a couple of
yeah,
drinks on the weekend, and they're like, oh, I've pressed the fuck it button. They go into a big spiral, and then I'll start again on Monday. I won't drink next weekend. Then it
yeah,
gets round. The girls are like, "Do you want to come to the pub?" Like, all right. And then you start again. So it's like if that's important to you, if those social occasions are important to you, if having dinner and a glass of wine, like with your husband or like with your partner, is important, or going out with your friends, like having a boozy brunch every now and again, don't feel like that means that you failed. Like,
yeah,
it's not at all. That's part of your life. And like I said, life is for living and making memories, like they put here. And it's
yeah.
absolutely,
It's just tying back to your values, isn't it? Again,
yeah. We do a lot about values, so that's why we keep
we
bringing it up.
do.
We've got a whole module on it. What's important to you? Act as your inner compass. That's what they do. So that stop it. But when you recognise your values, it does stop this guilt spiral.
Yeah,
That actually, this is important to me, and that's probably where we have a lot of breakthroughs in our wins. As I was just thinking then, this came up in one of the wins. They're like, I don't feel guilty anymore because I know this is part of my values and I enjoy it.
yeah,
Yes, this is what I like to see. Um, And this is really good actually, as well. It's very similar, but is it okay to have the like one night a week, like snack attack? If so, how do I not feel guilty about it? And what do I say to those guilty thoughts the next day? This is something I had the conversation with this person already around this. And what I said is it was that they enjoy what it was is like that time on their own again it was like that it was their downtime on their own. They got a family, they're busy. That time was like they like to watch a film, they like to have a snack, and they like to just chill out. And I was like, of course that's absolutely fine, that's your downtime.
yeah,
Like the obviously I talked about like portion control over like the snacks, like always put it on a plate or a bowl.
yeah,
Don't take the packets to like the sofa because you can overeat without thinking about it. Um, but when I said to her about like, of course you're allowed to do that. That's your downtime. Like food, we do have an emotional response to food. Like, yes, it can be self-soothing as long as it's not your only coping mechanism.
yeah,
It still can be an absolutely enjoyable experience. And she was like, yeah, I do enjoy it. So I was like, well, there you go. You're not doing it every
yeah,
day. You're doing it once a week.
yeah,
It's your downtime. And then she's like, oh, yeah, that's helped me not feel guilty now. So I was like,
yeah.
okay. Yeah. Um, but as well, have you got anything else to add to that? Because I know you've got a lot on this subject as well.
Yeah, well, this is not my client, so I didn't know the context behind it. So obviously, like having some snacks is not a bad thing, but I think the key, what you've said there, is that the client enjoys it and they don't feel guilty about it. So if it was a client who was heavily restricting during the week, and then they were having like an influx of snacks, so if they were kind of really low calorie, not enjoying foods that they really loved during the week, and then on a Saturday night they were just eating a lot of snacks. If they're if their goal was fat loss, then obviously you can eat over your calories and eat a lot if you've restricted all week. So from what you've said, there wasn't the restriction before. So I think that is healthy. If it was a client who was heavily restricting and then binging on a Saturday night, that might need to be a conversation that we have about including those foods at other times. So not just when you're sitting down to eat those snacks, it might be having some chocolate on a Tuesday night or having a packet of crisps with your lunch on a Wednesday, like including those things more regularly. But that doesn't sound like it's the case for that client. So
No, but it was good to like. That's why I asked your perspective because I knew it's like if, like you said, from that binge restrict,
yeah,
like it would been a different story, and definitely good to think about it in that way. And like you said, yeah, we don't believe in heavily restricting in the week. Like, why do we have to save? Like, we get in this mindset, don't we? We have to save these foods for the weekend. We can only have
yeah,
these foods on the weekend. We can only have drink on the weekend because that's when I'm going to treat myself. And then, like you said, what ends up happening is you usually go overboard and going over. If you think about your calories across a weekly
yeah,
basis, which is what we do with our clients, you end up going over, and that's what that binge restrict cycle is. Then you're like feel guilty, then you start restricting again on Monday.
yeah,
So yeah, to avoid that, we do highly recommend like yeah eating. These foods aren't sacred for the weekend. We don't have to save them, and also knowing that they're always readily available. Like we don't have to
yeah,
eat everything in one go, or like
yeah,
if we don't want a snack tonight, that's fine. You can have a snack tomorrow.
yeah. But I think it's the intent, isn't it? And that client sounds like, she wasn't in that cycle, so
Yeah.
that's fine.
She was just feeling guilty about like, oh, can I have this? Like I was like, of course you can. Like, it's part of your like little routine. You enjoy it. You're not
Yeah,
doing it all the time. It's just something that she's getting a lot of joy out of. So absolutely that worked for her. And the last one, this is a really good one to finish on, actually. Maintaining positivity. Sometimes I can feel like those negative thoughts creep back in. Any quick tips to banish them? First thought here is like we don't want to move into that toxic positivity. I'm all about got to feel the feels. Like we part of being human is having emotions. Like the being sad, being angry, being upset, feeling stressed, and being able to accept those feelings and work through those feelings are definitely part of maintaining positivity. Because yeah, we don't want to say everything's great all the time because it's not.
yeah,
Because sometimes life's a bit shit. That's okay. It's okay to say that. Um, and what I do a lot of work with my clients with like that kind of like how to feel the feels and how to process
yeah,
them. Because what happens if you do push away all those negative thoughts and all those negative feelings, it can come out in other ways
yeah,
as well. Um, I'm reading The Body Wears a Score at the moment, which is like talks a lot about that kind of stuff.
yeah. I've read that.
Yeah. So
That's
it's
good.
really, yeah. And so it's so important to feel the feels, but do it in a way that feels safe, which I do a lot of that with our clients about how to feel it and process it. So yeah, with the maintaining positive, first of all, it's about yeah making sure that you're not just pushing away thoughts that you need to feel, but if it's more of a challenging negative self-talk, then that's something we do. And actually, Emma's doing an amazing webinar
I've got a webinar on this tomorrow, all about this.
all about this. But have you got some like highlights from that then, Emma, without giving too much away because that's for our clients. So
Yeah, well, there's lots and lots of different strategies. Self-compassion is a big one. And we do like a lot of reframing work and stuff with our clients, don't we? But it's just like you said, we are going to have negative thoughts, and that's completely normal. And that doesn't mean that you haven't got a good mindset or anything. I think it's something like, I can't remember the exact number, but we have is it about 70,000 thoughts a day? So we get a lot of thoughts, and a lot of them are naturally quite negative. So we are going to get them, and our brain's job is to kind of scan for danger and not for us to kind of feel amazing all the time. But these kind of thoughts show up a lot more when we're tired or we're stressed, and our thoughts can default back to those old familiar patterns. So if we're used to not speaking to ourselves kindly, that's the kind of path that they will go down. But we can work on reframing and training to have a more positive voice and being more compassionate with yourself. And there's lots of different strategies in that webinar depending on the person. Like it might be like talking to yourself like you'd speak to one of your children, or there's different things that resonate with different people. So yeah, reframing is a lot of the work that we do around that. And also it's kind of being aware of those thoughts sometimes. Like, you can't stop those thoughts popping into your head, but we can kind of choose whether we buy into them. So if something comes up, you can be like, oh, that's a negative thought about my body or whatever, rather than just being, oh, my thighs are massive, or my belly's huge when I sit down, or whatever. You kind of detaching from it and noticing that that's the thought.
Observing it rather than.
Yeah.
So it's just quite a Buddhist thing actually as well, to say like you observe the thoughts, like you are not your thoughts is what comes up a lot. And it's being able to observe it without that kind of attachment. But one of the things like you touched on there, Em, as well, it's like one of the things you say to clients is like, and it just reminded me of like the with someone recently. I was like, the first step is becoming aware of those thoughts. Once you become aware, that's when you can make changes. And that's where we do a lot of the rewiring and the reframing with our clients as well. Those neural pathways I talked about before, but creating that new path, and we have to step off the grass. No, was it step off the well-trodden path and make a new one on?
Yeah.
Step onto the grass. That's what I say. I can remember then. I was like, what did I say? But we're creating new paths. It's habit patterns of the mind, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, if we're so used to, we've been telling ourselves these negative thoughts for years and years, and it's the same with emotions as well. We've been doing the same. Like, for me, it was anxiety. Your body or your mind goes automatically into that thought or to that feeling without even thinking about it. So the first step is becoming aware, and once you're aware, then you change it. So, yeah.
And the coaching that we do and the journaling and all of those kinds of things helps with that awareness, doesn't it? To kind of spot those patterns, or kind of noticing having bad body image thoughts around my period or whatever. And then the more that you do it, you kind of notice those patterns. Whereas if you weren't kind of paying any attention, you just continue with the negative thoughts and not being able to separate yourself from it.
Yes, absolutely. That's why, like, the first phase of our program is all about clarity and being able, like, to become aware. When that's why we've got like guided questions and stuff, like you said, with the journaling, to help bring that awareness. Once you got it, then and you notice patterns and things like that.
Yeah.
Because I'm the same. I know if I'm tired, I haven't slept well, I go very like my negative thought patterns come in, and I'm like, because I'm tired. So I don't pay attention to them. So I'm tired.
Yeah. Well, I've had clients comment that those questions have helped them to be more positive, because they're asking for your 3 wins of the day, and when you've had a really shit day, you have to really dig deep to find those wins. So things that you'd normally wouldn't even think about, it just kind of go over your head. When you've got to actually spend the time and think about your day, and when you've had a tough day, that's kind of training your mind to be more positive, because you're finding those wins in the day.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's what so that's where the reframing and the rewiring starts coming in, because you have to think of positives. You're like, there is positives here. Absolutely. And I'm someone, and I would say this definitely works, because I'm someone that used to be, if you met past Becky when she was like teenager, I had an incredibly negative mindset. Like, terrible, because I was just like not in a good space mentally. So it's like some people are like, how do you get it? How do you enter? I'm like, I've been there. Like, and it is
powerful. And wins that with celebrating other people, we don't necessarily see for ourselves. So it's kind of training yourself to notice those.
Absolutely. I'm all for that. Amazing. Well, anything else to add to that, Emma?
No, I think that's it.
Okay, that was incredible. What an amazing podcast. Had some great questions there and a great way to end it on this positivity. And as we talk about the reframing, the rewiring is what we are all about, and like recognizing these patterns. And I know we mentioned some of the tools that we have in Empower, and these amazing webinars and modules that we do. We do monthly webinars as well with our clients on different subjects like this. We dive deep into it. So if that has sparked any interest, you're like, actually, this coaching sounds right up my street, then of course, just reach out. You can always inquire on the links below or just send me a message and we can have a chat about how Emma and I can help you because, you know, we're here to help and we get it. We understand where you're coming from, and that's why we do have incredible results. So thank you, Emma. I'll speak to you soon and
Speak to you soon.
on the next episode.
See you later. Bye.